Hey classic car fans, welcome to another edition of Drive-By Junkyards on Earl's Classic Cars, where today we're featuring a 1968 Ford Thunderbird. This one is one of the cool ones from the late 60s, and it features a 429 Ford engine in it. Hey guys, Earl again from Earl's Classic Cars, where we're in Florida in late August. We've been visiting some very dear friends of ours, and while I was down here, I'm having trouble with my transmission of my 2014 Ram 1500. Actually, I thought it was a transmission. I think I'm back here at the service shop again today to find out whether it's really the rear pinion. I've been chasing this noise in this truck. Anyway, you don't want to hear all that. But we're down here in Florida, and when we're here, we just happened to run into this beautiful 1968 Ford Thunderbird, which is sitting on the back lot. And I'm here at a shop called David & Sons in North DeLand, Florida. And I asked him about this car, and he said, yeah, this was an older gentleman who had this car. And he got sick during COVID. He had brought it up here to get it serviced and everything. And he got sick during COVID. And that was about 3 years ago. And he hasn't heard from the man. He said he's not even sure if the guy is still alive. But I think he got a call from maybe the owner's son or a relative who said he was going to pick it up about a month ago. And it's still sitting here. And according to David, it runs. It's just in here for a tune-up. And I'm taking a look at this car, and I'm going to feature it with you today, and we'll look at it and tell me what you think about it. At first glance, this thing looks really good. It's dirty, of course. It's been sitting here in the back lot of this repair shop for about 3 years, but when you get a real close look at it, this thing looks really good. I've obviously put some aftermarket American racing wheels on it, giving it a little bit bigger look, but when you look closely, inner fender wells look pretty good on it. The rockers, take a look here, down here, not the rockers, the quarters. Look down here, feeling underneath. Feels pretty solid. A little rough under there, like there might be some surface rust, but overall, looks pretty sharp. Don't see anything of any importance. When I opened this car up earlier, just to kind of take a look at it, this door closes solid. This one appears to be a high-end model too, because you've got power door locks with a power window lock bypass. I didn't even know that existed in 1968. Remote mirrors, not power mirrors, but remote mirrors. This thing, I always a fan of the white interiors on these 60s and 70s cars. I had a 74 Roadrunner with a white interior. Man, I loved it. Just gives it a contrast that you don't see in today's cars, where everything's black on black, gray on black. Look at this thing. Now, it does have an aftermarket stereo in it. Heck, the keys are even in it, but we're not going to start it. David didn't tell me I had permission to do that, but check this feature out. It's like a side console door. That is unbelievable. I've never been inside one of these Thunderbirds before. Take a look at that. You even got the Thunderbird emblem. Of course, the obligatory ashtray and cigarette lighter. You got to have one of those in 1968. And you've got the push button console. Good. Let's see how many miles it's got on it. Possibly 71,000 miles. And by the looks of things, looking at the pedals, it's got at least front disc brakes. I'd say this might be an original 71,000 mile car. Now it's possible it's 171,000, but looking at the seats, they're not torn up. The pedals aren't worn. Still has the original carpet. Oh, check this out. Not only is that a vent, but look at the Thunderbird in the vent. You just don't see that kind of styling in today's cars. I mean, this thing's got Thunderbird symbols all over it. So if you didn't think you knew what it was, the symbols would definitely give it away. So it's got the clock, 120 mile an hour speedometer. It's got all the temp gauges. It doesn't have, let's see, is that a tick-tock? No, that's just a clock. I was thinking it might be a tick-tock-tack. But it's got the gauges on it and everything. Wiper, rear vent, open and close. So it's got vacuum gauges for that kind of thing. That's interesting. What do you guys think of these late 60s Thunderbirds? Let me know in the comments. Still got all the original stickers on it. Looking at the rockers here. Everything looks good. Floorboard's a little moist, so that means some rain's probably been getting in there. But back here, everything appears to be solid. Seats go up like they're supposed to. Oh yeah, look at that. Thunderjet 429. Gotta appreciate that. Rear seats all look good. May have spent some time in California, according to that plate. Here's all the tune-up stuff that they brought in for it. Still sitting here. Looks like they were going to put a fuel pump in it. It says Omni spark plugs, oil filter, air filter. All just sitting here, ready to go. Hardtop. Looking really good. It's even got Thunderbird here. Got the bright metal work on here. This window channel, runoff channel above the window. And it's got stuff in here, and this certainly could lead to problems later, but a lot of the vehicles in the 60s and 70s had this on here, and it would be rusted out. I'm telling you, this car was well taken care of. In fact, I remember David telling me that the guy asked him to keep it inside the shop, and he did, but he had to keep moving it out for a month or so. So now it's sitting out here where the elements will eventually get to it, which is a shame. Overall, this is a really fine example and just needs to be buffed out and cleaned up, taken to the car wash maybe. But this thing is a well cared for car all these years. Don't know what happened to the man who owned it. Hopefully he is still around. Hopefully he's doing okay after what David told me about COVID and him not being around since COVID. Either way, I hope his family can come get this car and revive it. Otherwise, it's going to sit here in this lot and become a drive-by junkyard. Check this out. I was looking at this in the back. Look at this way they hid the lock for the key. That is sweet. You just don't see that kind of stuff anymore. Chrome bumper still looks good. I mean, you can polish that up. It looks like it's brand new. Got the full length taillights. Over here on this side, again, lower quarters looking good. Have a little hard time maybe getting to that right side. I did notice up here some rust. And check out these vents in the back. That's unusual. You don't see that in most panels underneath the windows. There is some surface rust here. I press on it. It seems to be surface rust. I don't think it's gone all the way through. That certainly looks repairable. Looking down here, I think I did see, no, that's just some crud. Yeah, there's a little bit coming through on the rocker right here. But overall, this is a solid car. Now listen to this. Listen. Look at that. Closes better than some modern day cars. It does have a little bit of rust coming through here on the door. A little bit bubbling through here and here. Things that I definitely think are repairable. Let's see if we can get in over here. Love this when I'm down in Florida. This wonderful humid weather that I lived with for 30-something years, and the chance of going in the weeds where the snakes are. You know how it is if you live down here. Solid over here. Yeah, a little more bubble through. Seems to be an issue with the doors. Like probably up here. The bright metal work looks good, but probably these gaskets are gone. It's water getting down through there and then settling down here, getting in the doors. I think there might be a little issue here, right in front of the right rear wheel. Yeah, feels a little crunchy. But overall, again, look at this. More Thunderbird symbolism. Let's see, I bet this door opens up. Oh yeah, there's invoice history and everything. A few little ants in here. Nothing unusual. It's got an old car smell to it, but it doesn't smell bad like it's, flooded and rotted. Flooring seems to be dry on this side. I think the door seal's better on this side. This is an unbelievable find right here. And while we're going to classify it as sitting in here in our drive-by junkyard, I'm telling you, according to what they're telling me and the way this thing looks, look at that. Solid. Closing solid. This thing's ready to drive out of this car lot, this repair lot. See if we can find the hood latch on this thing. We're going to see if we can get this thing open. We'll give you a look at the engine. Looking at the inside a little closer here, you can see it definitely came with factory AC. You got max, fresh, with a button for the lights. It's got vacuum actuated lights, as you know, with the hidden headlights. Still trying to find a way to Open the hood here. Give us a little minute. All right, guys, we found out. We just had to push down on the hood a little bit, and here it is, the beast of a 429 engine. In our other video, 1970 car sales, we called that 302 that was sitting in the Torino beast, but this is definitely a Power by Ford beast right here, the 429. They've got a little aftermarket 1406 Edelbrock 600 CFM carburetor on it, and still got the original compressor on it for the air conditioner. This thing looks really good. Of course, not unusual, typical rust out of the battery tray area, but they don't have a battery in here to continue the rust, or to aggravate the rust. The rust is going to continue anyway. But look at this thing. It is solid. I don't know what it is about Ford and these inside shock tower mounts that always just crowd the engine area, but clearly this was big enough area to put a 429 in, but this thing is an absolute beast. Check that out. They put a little clickety-clack electronic fuel pump on it. Of course, they had a mechanical fuel pump there in the back seat area that they were going to replace on it, but they've got that on there. I had to put one of those on my 69 Ford LTD too, going around clickety-clacking all the time, but it worked. It definitely worked. Solved that problem. Typical, I think, on these late 60s models to have the fuel pumps go out on them. You tell me if that's different, but I did have that with my 69, and this clearly has that same issue with a 68 Ford Thunderbird. Man, look at the size of that engine. Maybe David will start it for us. Maybe he won't. Either way, this is a good looking car. Hood up, hood down. Headlights up, headlights down. Very sleek model. What do you think, guys? Should it sit here? Should we restore it? Would you sell it out for parts? Or would you let it sit here in this drive-by junkyard auto repair lot edition? Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming along with us in this vacation edition of Drive-By Junkyards, and we'll be back with another video soon, so subscribe, like, and share. Help us to spread the word on these Drive-By Junkyards. And stay tuned to see more from me, Earl with an E.